rolling here. Megan, can you turn up the echo? Oh. What? Number 4. Echo on everything. So how's one start here? Okay, so I guess this would be a guitar pick. I'll start by saying I'd much rather play bass. But I've been so long that I guess it's my instrument, right? And, you know, when back in the beginning here when we started writing music, I say we, meaning the royal we here, me and Dildoid, I remember hearing a Zeppelin song, I guess it was Friends off Zeppelin 3, and he's in the key of like open C. So everything I've written since then has been in open C. So it's like super. Why do we just be super loud now? It sounds good. So it'd be like C, C. But I mean, it's basically the whole idea is it's like I play everything, almost every riff I write is like based around octaves, and then that way when it comes to like orchestrating it, then you can bang there, then I can kind of fill in the blanks with like the keyboards or whatever. See, I'm trying to make this like a clinic, and then I just want to talk shit. I'll get there in a minute, right? We're gonna make this seem like it's well, thank you very much. Yeah. Oh, that is yes, it is Devin. Yeah. So here's this. Anyway, I've been working with Peavy since deconstruction started. I finished deconstruction like 5 days ago, I mean. Guys, that record's fun. I think since strapping, my whole thing has been people like, oh, well, we want you to do strapping again. I'm like, well, of course, and I love that band. Strapping's awesome. But I'm 38, and I'm not doing drugs, and I got a kid, and I'm like bald. You know, it's like you gotta be true to yourself, right? And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, because strapping was such a cool thing for me, the reason it was so cool is because I like, you know, City. I mean, that's who I was. And I was 23, and that's like exactly what I wanted to write. So I wrote it, and there it was. And then after that, people were like, well, do City again. And I'm like, you know, now I'm 38, I'm like, well, I can't. But when I was 33, I was like, okay, I'll try. Right? Went to Alien and just totally made a mess of myself, right? Which is like entertaining. But I mean, in hindsight, let's not do that again. But I mean, after that, I quit doing drugs and everything. I kind of went to this whole trip where I was like, well, how do you justify making this music? I mean, it's not that I have any like moral stance or anything on music. That's not for me to decide. But I mean, as I got older, I was just like, well, strapping what made it so awesome was from the heart. I was like, fuck the world. Right? But now I'm like not. And it's like, it's like the internet's cool because you can connect with folks like yourselves and and hang out and like realize there's like really bugger all difference between people wherever you go, right? But at that point, I was like, yeah, but you know, I like my friends, and I like my family, and I like playing music, and I'm like fortunate to play live and everything. So why would I want to say fuck the world, right? Like, I really don't. So, but I still am like really predisposed to writing crazy music, right? So with deconstruction, it took going through Key and then Addicted, and then getting to deconstruction to say, okay, well, how do we really want to make this work? And yeah, no, it ended up being, you know, the shit show. But I mean, the thing is, with like Infinity and with Alien, I lost the plot at the end of both those records and ended up, you know, in fetal position sucking my thumb for a couple of years. But this one, I was like, no way, man. Like, we're going to get through this one. And not only are we going to get through it, but it's going to be way more intense than those ones. And the point's going to be like, it's going to be a positive sentiment. And it's going to just like, once it gets people down, and they're just like, okay, I've had enough. They're like, no. We haven't even gotten started yet, actually. So just sit there. And then by the end of that record, it's just like, okay, I do. And then it goes to Ghost. So in a way, deconstruction's like, hey, listen to Ghost. So I know it's a guitar clinic. I fucking, okay, God, what do you do with guitar shit? Okay, so here. Hey, Creeper! Okay, yeah. I didn't even know that song. I thought we do like. It's like I've been playing this weird-ass tuning for so long, I wouldn't even know how to play freebird. Although I think it's like a genetic predisposition for folks in the States too, right? So it's like, if I'm in Canada, that's what we're on. So what should I do? Should I play some dumb shit? I'll play some dumb shit. Right? Oh, okay. Can I turn it?
One right.
This one? That's too loud. I like quiet. This one's the guitar. This one? 2 and 3. Very good. Tone. And yeah, not too together about 3 years ago when I was like trying to get started again, and I was producing a bunch of dubious bands. Like, there's some good bands for sure too, but I also did like some shitty bands. But Stevie was just like, dude, you should like actually be playing your own music. And of course, the person was like, well, we'll bring strapping back. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, I'll say it one more time, this time in a calm tone of voice. It ain't gonna happen for this reason, this reason, this reason. And they said, okay, well, why don't you just get back up there and start making music? And so I did. I started with Key, and you know, I mean, I think Key's a great record, right? But the public reaction to that, for the most part, is just like, but it's like weird. It's like subtle, and I'm like, yeah, well, you know. For the folks that like wake up in the morning and roll out of bed and put on Domination by Morbid Angel, we're probably not going to hang out much anyway, right? The type of guys just like, so we're going to go tonight, we're going to go rock there, we're going to fucking rage, man. And I'm like, yeah, but, you know, Antiques Roadshow's on. So, but again, so I put out Key and it was like, it was cool. I mean, it's like, but it starts this story, right? You know, like there's this dubious story that goes between 4 records. And at the end of Key, just to keep it less pretentious than it really obviously is, the character, ooh, I wonder who that is, it sort of manages to have like a bit of an epiphany and say, oh, okay, well, if you're predisposed to it, you get a clear head, you might as well just like jump into it. And so with Addicted, the second record, which is a little heavier, right? It's kind of like dancey and pretty optimistic, but almost to a fault in a certain extent, right? And again, it was like, with Phoebe, you know, they're just like, oh, it's cool, but metal, come on, give us metal. And I'm like, yeah, but, you know, I do metal, yeah, of course, right? I get a metal heart. But I really like new age music, you know, I really like Kenya, you know, I really do. So I was like, well, what am I going to make a heavy record about, you know? If it's not Fuck the World, like what's it going to be about? So Deconstruction became this record about, okay, well, let's take apart what it is about heavy music that you're so fascinated by, right? And I think the conclusion is, on some level, is like, artistically, there's this like arrogance that comes. It's like, oh yeah, no, I can figure it out, man. Like I can figure out the face of reality. I'm like smart enough to understand infinity. Of course, man. I'm a super brain. And very obviously, if I was doing deconstruction, I realized, no, I'm an idiot. And not only was I an idiot before this started, but I'm more of an idiot now that I've gotten through it, right? But the quest has resulted in this big pointy guitar, which is cool, yeah. But it's very specifically for deconstruction. And, you know, deconstruction, which is, honestly, it's like, I can't quite figure out how I feel at the end of that record. It's like it's traumatized, for sure. But it's not like anally raped. Or like alien made me feel, right? But it's like, I don't know, as opposed to like a petulant teenager being pissed off that, you know, you can't borrow the car, it's more like your dad going, you can't borrow the car! Right? Yeah. And then Ghost, the record after that, is really, it's like, I've always wanted to make something beautiful, you know? Like I say, I love, like, flute music and, you know, peace, quiet, and nature, but most of the time, and so like the people that help me on deconstruction, I mean, I got a ton of guests, and they're from like awesome bands, right? And like an orchestra, and like all this cool shit, and it really makes it like, you know, got a guy who makes awesome sounding metal records to mix it. So dude, it's a metal record, right? But it's a very interesting one, right? But the guy who's helped me orchestrate it, Florian, he sings with this black metal band from Germany, Dark Fortress, I think it's called, right? And he was just like, dude, deconstruction, right on deconstruction. I said, here, dude, check out Ghost. He's like, dude, you gotta turn that off. So it seems to be that Ghost is a much more dangerous record because it's like people are just like, I don't want to hear beautiful things. I want to be reminded about how shit things are. So I mean, deconstruction is like, you know, into Ghost. I think together it's a cool pairing of records because it's like on one side it's brutal, on one side it's like mellow, right? God, I gotta play this thing now, don't I? Okay. Well, what should I play? What do you got? You want to learn anything? Like, what do you want to learn? What? Oh, okay. How the hell's the way to go? Sorry, bud. It's Armando, man. Armando's the shit. And he's just, unfortunately having to deal with my kerfuckery. And this is a nice guitar. This is pretty nice guitar. I like that too, man. That's like some rock goes with 1 through 49 now. That's the hum I'm looking for. Oh wait, I wonder if it's this. Oh, I can go. That's alright, fine. That's okay. Never mind. You know what's funny? Like, I mean, you guys are all musicians, probably, right? Like, most of you? Nope. Yeah, okay. That's awesome. I never listen to shit. Like, once it's done, I'm just like, okay, that's it. Onward. Then sometimes there'll be a song come on, like, who the hell is this? Why does it annoy me so much? Oh, that's right, it's me. It's like swimming upstream in a, like deliver your own splooge sometimes. But I think a lot of times it's like, making music as well. It's like, okay, well, the reason why I make it is to like get from that guitar is horrible. Yeah, that white boy. Totally play that. Oh. I thought you was a stink at it. Okay, I'm not wank. I mean, shit, we were still here, right? So let's get the wank boots on, right? What's the song? Deadhead? Oh, I'll show you how to play Deadhead, alright? That can work. I can make it like I'm like showing you how to play a song. Just going, Deadhead is what we typically know as like a minor sort of a sound, minor sound scale. Alright, so it's gonna get, just wait, I was getting warmed up, man. That was just going to have a bunch of white pages saying, like this. Yeah, it's like funny. It's like I did something for Guitar World magazine the other day, and they're like, I'll play us a lick. And so I played some stupid lick, and they're like, oh, okay, so slow that down. And I was like, uh-oh. And he's like, what are we going to call that? And I'm like, it's like third, fifth fret thing. No. That'll be a C minor Mixolydian snake track. I'm like, oh. Want me to hold your purse while you're writing that down? Yeah, so that's me with guitar, man. Guitar is like, I think I'm actually a pretty good guitar player, but I mean, it's like I write some shitty solos just because I never find like there's a lead in a song solo. I mean, where there's a solo, you can put like an explosion. Right? The long solo is just like a explosion. But on deconstruction, there's like, I got my wank boots on for a bunch of it. But I also got some other buddies who are like really love playing solos to come in and like, I was like, dude, I'm on the licks. Can you help me out in this part? You're better than me anyway, right? So, but I mean, honestly, some people write on the piano, some on the guitar, and I don't know. I like the instrument, and I like, you know, like in key and ghost and everything. It's definitely gone to every time you're playing, he goes, yeah, well. What was that? That was expensive.
The line bar fell off.
I know, man. That camera lens looks good, too. Yeah, so if I had one of those people would obviously know that it's like, there you get a small wang. I do. My wang is like I hate it, man. Something growing in Canada. Yeah, it's like short and angry. Yep. Yeah. Why? So we're still working with guitar, right? Should be more of the guitar? You tell me. Can I just talk shit? Okay, good. This could be so much better for me, right? I'm going to guitar and just point to the TV thing. Are we good? You got any questions about like poo or anything? Okay, someone asked me a question. You guys give me a good one.
When you play the sweep spar number,
yeah,
do you use a traditional sweeping all the way down and all the way back up, or do you pick each note?
I pick each note. Yeah, how the fuck is that? See, that's a special pedal. That's what means I never got laid in high school. All that shit, that's all that. Yeah, but I mean, it's like, I got stuck on musical ideas too, right? Like a lot of people are like, oh, that's not fair, man. You played that same riff on the last record and how it's going to do, right? I'm like, right. I didn't get it right on the last one yet, right? It's all a work in progress. Like that lick is actually now in, on Deconstruction, there's a song called The Mighty Masturbator. It's like 16 minutes of like jerking off. But yeah, that lick to that one too, it's like it ends up going. Something like that. But it's like it's numbered as well, right? But it's like the whole idea is like through Ziltoid, through Ocean Machine, through Sequestra, Infinity. It's like the themes, it's like, dude, it's like one theme. It's like all the records are like connected, man. What that theme is, I'm not quite sure yet, but it's starting to come together. I think it's something to do with food. At the end, it's like, and this large body of work ultimately ends up saying, I really like stuff. That's my theme, guys. Stuff is awesome. Yeah, but I mean, so, like, from Infinity on, like, all the themes just keep on coming and, like, getting morphed around and everything. And I think on one level, I'm just trying to say this to be like, yeah, man, there's a theme, it's supposed to be like that. On another level, it's probably just lazy, like, keep recycling riffs, right? But either way, I'm going with the first one. I think it makes me seem like I'm, like, you know, in control of my destiny, as opposed to just, like, you know, too tired to care. Although that can possibly be. Another question.
Is that the guitar you recorded key with?
Yeah. Yeah, I recorded this one. With, actually, there's another one that Pete said had this like horrible blue finish. I took a belt sander to it. But this one was like so pretty, I decided to bring it on tour. But of course, everything in my life is pretty. I have to like fuck with it. So I like ripped the pickup out and like put this one in and everything. And now I don't like this one. I'm gonna pick that one out. You know, I know it's find the same thing. It's like my iPod as well. Like I've got it cased in like this like huge chunk of rubber. It's like people, things in my life. It's like the stuff that can like live through like not being handled carefully are the things that I have in my life for a long time, right? If it can't take like abuse, it usually just doesn't last. Like someone's like, oh, here's this beautiful fragile pedal. And I'm like, oh, nice! Like, oh, shit, I did that. That's it as well, right? I mean, that's kind of how I roll, right? I'm just kind of like, yeah, if you have to be careful with it, it's not going to last, right? So, you know, all the good things in my life, you know, I've been with my wife for 20 years, poor lady, right? So, it's just like, yeah. Same with the band. We've known each other for a long time, too, right? So yeah, with this guitar, it's nice, but I broke the neck on this one already, right? It's like, I forget, I took it out of the case, it was totally like messed up. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, we'll use the other one. It was like a cheap one with a belt sander, and it worked great. So, you know, there's my advice to aspiring musicians. If you can throw it off something and it doesn't break, like, write a song with it. But I mean, I think it's like, you know, I think fragile things are nice. I like stuff. Okay, another question?
Yeah, the New York cover, that was awesome.
Right.
Doing any more?
Well, that was kind of one of those things where it's like I've been like kind of like metal guy for so long that it was kind of cool to be in a position where someone said, well, here, you know, try and do something that maybe proves that you're, you know, cheesy in other areas. But no, there's no plan. I mean, that was like, you know, Billy Sheehan and a bunch of cool folks on there, and so it was nice to be involved, right? But I mean, I like to sing, and I like to dance. But I mean, in all honesty, I'd love to branch out into things that, you know, are like, you know, like different than metal too, right? Like, I mean, I love house music. I'm such a cheeseball, right? I mean, I like to dance, and I like to do it again, right? But, you know, in terms of, like, you know, what I want to do musically, I'm on a bench here. It's just that train is heading to the derail part, right? It's going to happen, like, 4 seconds from now. I think it's good. So everyone we're talking about, the answer is probably yes. I want to make it still seem like a clinic, so I'm just going to ramble on about scales here for a minute just to make that part of it. Is that okay? Okay, cool. All right. So anyway, in open C tuning, you will find that every string is the same pattern. Okay, so like this is C, and that's a C, or no, wait, that's a C, and that's a G, and that's a C, and that's a C, and that's a G. So you just go the same. Kind of rad. You want to make it minor? You want to make it one of these? Or a diminished plagin? Right? I don't know what the hell they call it. That one's got, I always go by like the vibe, right? It's like, oh, walking along a sunny beach. Oh, we're standing inside a cave. Oh, we're looking towards the sky and that's anticipation. And then it's like when I'm like, oh, okay, well this part really needs a bit of pensive anticipation. I'm like, well, we'll use that one. That's how I roll, right? And then arpeggios are great. I got hung up on arpeggios for Ziltoid. I was just like, oh, dude. It's all the same pattern. Oh, well, that's that one. That's the, my mom playing piano on a Sunday afternoon. This is one marking up live this time. You see what I mean? Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. It's like, you know what's funny, I was doing deconstruction recently, it's like I got the Prague Philharmonic Orchestra. Mortgage my fucking house. but, you know, but all of a sudden it's like people online, it's like, oh, what do you think you're a composer? Because I'm a composer, you don't even have a beret on. I was like, I'm not a composer, man, I'm just a jackass, but I'm not afraid to fail. So that's why we went to that thing, and I was just like, so I wrote it all in MIDI and Pro Tools, and then I got some guy that actually knew notes to like transcribe my nerdosity, right? And we went there, and you know, songs like Masturbator and Cheeseburger and all this stuff, and then like 60 musicians have spent their whole life becoming part of this thing, right? So it's like Masturbator. I'm like, yeah. And even better with the choir, there's this one part, I hear this song called Pandemic, and like the sopranos go, Pandemic, I farted, right? And the lady was just like, are you singing farting? I was like, yeah, no, but they really farted. That's right, man. Bars closed, I'm an artist. But I think that's important, right? How's that? Inspirational speech. This is the mom playing piano on a Saturday chord, and it's important to be a jackass. Another question, man, this seat's comfy. You know, this man, I got this horrible leg brace. I got hemorrhoids too, man. I'm gonna land it. Can you check that out on no? I'm on like, fuck you. What's that? I can put my foot up and just be like, hey, it's related. Another question.
Are you down for musical time?
Says the man in the Ziltoid shirt. Yeah. Well, that's gonna be the next one. But in all honesty, what I want to do with deconstruction is I wanted to make it like. What I wanted to do with deconstruction was like. It was like kind of punk rock orchestra project, you know. We're sleeping on each other's couches. We had 4 hours to record like 200 minutes of music, right? It was like, did that add up? So I mean, really, it was like, oh my God, you masturbator! I say I farted before after, you know. Like, now that it's done, and then I went to Jens, and like, and before Jens, like I mean, he did like those reveries and like all the Monomar stuff, and like he's great mixing engineer, right? But it's super precise. He's never done drugs, and he's like really clean, and the studio's like everything's in a place for everything. Everything's black, white, and red, right? And I come in, and he's like, well, I've been working on this mix for a while. Check it out, see what you think. I'm like, turn up the samples. He's like, but you're not going to hear the drums. I'm like, no, everything louder than everything else. And it's like, yes, but that's not how it works. You have to be conservative with it. And luckily, I was able to like go like this every now and then, be like. The mix actually ends up sounding really good. And I came back and like poor guy went to bed one night and I was like, do you mind if I just use your computer all night? He said, yeah, go for it. So I came back to the studio, I got the mixer sounding exactly like he should. He turned it on, just like and he had just gotten a cold and he had this look on his face like So what's I talking about? All right. So like the whole idea with deconstruction was just like, okay, well, let's make a demo and show people that, yeah, I know I'm a meathead, but I mean, I think I got some good ideas, right? And I think that if I've got like enough people around me that are like better than me, then we could make something that was like awesome. And so deconstruction is like, it's intense, right? But the idea is to give it something. Well, look, if you give us like $2 million, 100 dancing girls. What? Right. Okay, then, and it was one for each bum cheek. Oh, different, too. Oh, I'll sit on Gretch. Oh, wait, that's an peg. I'm going to try out both of them. No, I want to both. No. Is that okay?